DARB Internal Document, Defense Applied Recombination Biology Division, File Classification, Level 4, EIDOLON Clearance Required, Document ID, DARB/GEN-ATV-2020-22-3R. Title: Comparative Pattern Briefing, Mitroweave Classifications B, C, and R. Compiled by Dr. Silas Keller, Lead Biogenetic Analyst. Reviewed by Dr. Adrian Markos, Advisory, Comparative Anthropology Unit. Date: July 12, 2020. Status: Confidential, not for civilian release. Section 1. Summary. Following the successful deployment of the Mitroweave assay Mark II, anomalous mitochondrial patterns identified in ATAVIS-positive tissue samples have been categorized into three primary expression types: Pattern B, Pattern C, and Pattern R. These represent distinct evolutionary strata of atavistic re-expression, correlating with behavioral and metabolic deviations consistent with pre-sapiens predatory inheritance. All recorded subjects displayed neurochemical and hematologic deviations outside human physiological tolerance when under metabolic stress, suggesting partial reactivation of dormant Neanderthal genomic systems. Section 2. Pattern B, basal strain. Incidence: 2 to 4% of sampled global population. Weave signature: B loop, single deviation band, low amplitude. Classification: dormant, subclinical. Summary. Pattern B represents the ancestral baseline of the atavis inheritance, a silent, dormant form carried by an estimated 150 million individuals worldwide. Subjects exhibit mild hematotropic preference, UV sensitivity, and enhanced nocturnal alertness, but remain functionally human. Notes: Pattern B is humanity's sleeping wolf, mostly harmless unless you starve it. Dr. Keller, Osnabrück Report, 1999. Clinical cues: low basal temperature, average 95.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Elevated hematocrit, variable iron retention. Compulsive dietary heme preference. Circadian phase delay. Containment risk, low. Pattern B individuals can be monitored via standard biobank sequencing without public disclosure. Section 3. Pattern C, convergent strain. Incidence: around 0.5% of sampled population. Weave signature: C echo, dual phase oscillation. Classification: adaptive, hybridized. Summary. Pattern C emerges when mitochondrial deviations, pattern B, interact with rare nuclear cofactor expression. This creates a hybridized metabolic loop bridging ancient predatory traits with modern human adaptation. Carriers exhibit advanced empathic mimicry and emotional camouflage behaviors, capable of socially integrating while displaying measurable physiological predation responses. Physiological observations: oxygen conservation under hypoxic conditions, anomalous ferritin cycling, emotional dampening in limbic PET scans, prolonged adrenal response to conflict stimuli. Behavioral correlates: strategic manipulation, often in leadership or exploitative social roles, resistance to trauma-linked empathy or remorse, heightened sensory response to pheromonal and heme cues. Containment risk: moderate. Pattern C individuals are socially adaptive and difficult to identify without weave assay confirmation. Excerpt: Internal Review, Markos. Pattern C is the cultural predator. Civilization has merely taught it to feed differently. Section 4. Pattern R, recurrence strain. Incidence: less than 0.05%. Documented global total: 34 confirmed, 119 suspected. Weave signature: R bloom, red-black interference that appears to pulse, tripartite loop. Classification: reactivated, ancestral. Summary: Pattern R constitutes the reactivation phase of the Atavus inheritance, a re-expression of pre-sapiens mitochondrial dominance. Subjects demonstrate heme-based energy metabolism, hypothermic stability, and profound neurophysiological alteration in moral and empathetic processing. Physiological observations: core temperature 91 to 93 degrees Fahrenheit, accelerated tissue regeneration under heme saturation, extreme photophobia, olfactory acuity for blood compounds below 3 parts per million, documented intimidation field, autonomic fear induction in proximity subjects, behavioral correlates, territorial fixation and social withdrawal, ritualistic or patterned predation, hypervigilance and dominance drive, immune resistance to blood-borne pathogens, containment risk, severe. Pattern R individuals are metabolically divergent and capable of sustained survival outside standard human nutritional and environmental parameters. Recommended protocol: surveillance and indirect neutralization only. Direct containment has resulted in multiple casualties. See incident file MKR-07-BLED. Excerpt: Keller, internal memo, redacted. Pattern R is not a mutation. It is memory, evolution's recall command. Section 5. Comparative overview. Pattern B is the most common, with a latent preference for heme from blood. They present with a B loop on Mitroweave assay, and they tend to have colder than average skin temperatures. They can sometimes have a blunted emotional response. Think of them as sleepers, mostly human and mostly unaware, but the potential is there. Containment priority is minimal. Pattern C individuals are more rare than Pattern B and have a preference for blood and organ meat, but can survive on normal human diets. Mitroweave assay will reveal a C echo pattern. These individuals are capable of mimicking human empathy in the same way a sociopath can, and they are just as adept at manipulation. Their lack of empathy tends to make them highly efficient at the practical tasks of feeding and covering their tracks. Pattern C requires active surveillance in case they become higher profile in their behavior, that being active hunting of humans. Pattern R is extremely rare, even among carriers. They are fully heme dependent for their nutrition and present with R bloom pattern on Mitroweave assay. They are completely absent of empathy and don't bother to fake it. Displaying the more mythological traits of the vampire, such as photophobia, they are also capable of extreme feats of physical regeneration when dietary needs are met. They are truly inhuman predators and represent a critical risk that requires constant surveillance when discovered. Section 6. Recommendations. Continue longitudinal tracking of known Pattern C subjects via EIDOLON index. Redact all Pattern R confirmations under bioterrorism exemptions. Disseminate misinformation via online conspiracy culture, Rh negative, reptilian, elite bloodline narratives, to obfuscate true mitochondrial findings. Establish containment protocols at cold storage sites in low UV latitudes. Reference Directive 7.4, Heliotype Containment. Section 7, Addendum. Confidential note, Dr. Markos, handwritten, scanned, July 13, 2020. We've mistaken evolution's silence for absence. Pattern B whispers. Pattern C negotiates. Pattern R remembers. End of document. Declassification review date, January 1, 2070. Document retention code 19-7F-EIDOLON.